Hello there, and welcome to Deep Space Sleep Channel. I'm glad you're here tonight. Maybe you've been thinking too far outward lately into galaxies, into time, into questions without answers, and now it feels good to come home. Or maybe you've been grounded all day, your mind full of noise, and you just want to remember how quiet the world can be when it isn't trying to impress anyone. Tonight, we're returning to Earth, not the maps, not the headlines, but the living world beneath all of that, the one that breathes quietly under your feet, that turns beneath the stars with steady patience. This is a planet that remembers everything: fire, ice, oceans, and silence. It's older than any name we've given it, yet somehow it feels alive in this exact moment, right now, breathing with you. The Earth is a storyteller, but it speaks in tides and wind, in the deep vibration of mountains, in the shimmer of light across leaves, in the pulse you can feel when you stand barefoot on the ground. Its history is written in stone and sea, yet its message is always the same. You belong here. You always have. As you listen, you'll drift across time, from molten beginnings to quiet forests, from deep oceans to the thin blue air that cradles every living thing. You'll hear 100 soft truths about this world, how it moves, how it remembers, and how it never stops becoming new. There's nothing you need to do. Let the weight of the day dissolve like fog in morning sunlight. Let your breath slow to the planet's rhythm, steady to calm, endless. The air you're breathing right now is ancient, shared with trees, whales, and clouds. Every exhale is a small exchange with the sky itself. You are part of this cycle. You are made of this place. The iron in your blood came from its rocks. The salt in your tears came from its seas. The warmth in your chest began in the heart of a long-forgotten star, but found its home here, on this small blue world. If you're listening from somewhere on Earth tonight, a city glowing with light, a quiet countryside, or a small room where the only sound is your own breath, you can tell me where you are and what time the sky looks like outside your window. It helps others find calm among the same turning planet we all share. For now, rest in the rhythm of this world. The night is long, the ground steady, and the planet is still breathing with you. Let's begin. More than 4.5 billion years ago, Earth began as a swirl of dust and molten fire surrounding a young sun. Space then was not quiet, but alive with collisions, fragments of rock and metal crashing together, building a world through chaos and heat. The surface glowed red, oceans of magma shifting beneath a toxic sky. There were no continents, nor clouds, only storms of stone and vapor. Yet, within that turbulence, gravity and time began to sculpt order. The planet slowly found its rhythm, spinning into shape, holding on to its fragile atmosphere. Each molten ripple carried the potential for life, though nothing yet lived. The Earth we know, blue, calm, alive, began as fire and noise, and from that violence, patience grew. Every mountain, every ocean, and every breath we take is the echo of those first burning moments of creation. Over millions of years, Earth began to cool. The fiery oceans of lava hardened into rock, and the first rains fell, forming shallow seas that shimmered under a pale sky. Steam rose in endless clouds, wrapping the planet in a soft silver fire. Lightning flickered across the horizon, and water pooled in low basins, carrying with it the minerals that would one day feed life. The surface crackled, shifted, and settled, becoming continents in slow motion. Volcanoes exhaled gases that thickened the air, and sunlight reflected gently off newborn oceans. What was once chaos became balance. What was once fire became reflection. Each raindrop that fell carried the memory of the stars, cooling the surface into a cradle of calm. It was the first exhale of a planet learning to breathe, preparing itself for the moment when chemistry would turn into biology, when stillness would learn to move. Then, something invisible and miraculous began: the first breath of oxygen. Long before trees or animals, microscopic cyanobacteria learned to turn sunlight into air. In shallow seas, they gathered, releasing oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. At first, the gas reacted with iron in the water, staining the oceans red and leaving behind rust-colored rocks that still mark that age. But as time passed, the balance shifted. Oxygen accumulated in the atmosphere, transforming a poisonous world into one capable of sustaining life. The sky turned blue, the ozone layer formed, and the Earth began to glow with the promise of diversity. That single chemical shift changed everything: the temperature, the color of the oceans, the evolution of all future life. The air we breathe now is the inheritance of those ancient microbes. Their quiet work gave the planet its first true voice, the soft rhythm of breath that continues even now. Within those ancient oceans, life appeared for the first time, small, fragile, and full of wonder. Single-celled organisms drifted through warm waters, feeding on sunlight and minerals, dividing, growing, and learning to adapt. They were invisible to the naked eye, yet they began the great story of evolution. The endless unfolding of form and function. The seas became laboratories of creation, where time and chance collaborated to shape the first genes, the first motion, the first awareness. For billions of years, these microscopic beings lived and died, leaving traces of themselves in stone and salt. They were the ancestors of every living thing, the quiet architects of forests, whales, and humans alike. In their simplicity lay the foundation of all complexity. Even now, every living cell carries echoes of their rhythm, the same chemical pulse that first stirred beneath the waves, still beating within us. Even today, the Earth remembers its fiery beginning. Beneath the quiet soil and calm oceans, heat still rises from the core, the molten heart that forged the planet's earliest shape. Volcanoes, earthquakes, and geothermal vents are its memory-made, visible reminders that the planet is not still but alive. The iron that once glowed at Earth's birth still flows deep below, generating the magnetic field that shields life from cosmic harm. The ground beneath us, though it feels solid, is always moving, reshaping itself with slow intention. Mountains rise where plates collide, and islands bloom from underwater fire. Every pebble and every gust of wind carries whispers of that first creation. The Earth has never forgotten its origin. It simply learned to breathe through it. Beneath its calm surface, the memory of its beginning still burns quiet now. But éternel. More than 70% of Earth's surface is covered by ocean, a seamless blue expanse that defines our planet more than land ever could. From orbit, it appears as a living mirror, reflecting sunlight, shifting with cloud and wind, breathing in slow, global rhythm. Beneath that calm surface lies depth beyond comprehension, trenches that vanish into darkness where no sunlight can reach. The ocean moderates temperature, carries storms, and sustains nearly all life, either directly or through its invisible chemistry. Every drop connects to another, forming one continuous body that circles the world without boundaries. It is the memory of the planet's birth, the same water that once boiled under volcanic skies, now resting in tides and rain, the sound of waves, the pull of current, the scent of salt, all are reminders that Earth's truest shape is not solid, but liquid, moving gently through endless time. The Pacific Ocean, largest of them all, could swallow every continent and still have space to spare. It stretches from Arctic to Antarctic, from Asia to the Americas, wide enough that its waves have their own weather, their own heartbeat. Within its depths lie islands that float like green punctuation marks, and trenches so deep that mountains could stand inside unseen. Entire ecosystems exist there in perpetual twilight, sustained by chemistry rather than sunlight. Sailors once called it peaceful, but that calm hides unimaginable power, the slow churning of currents, the silent drift of tectonic plates, the quiet accumulation of storms. Every sound within it echoes for miles, carried by pressure and salt. The Pacific is not merely an ocean, it is the planet's vast memory, holding the story of continents, of migrations, of every living thing that ever called the sea its home. Beneath the ocean's surface lies a hidden mountain range, larger and taller than anything on land. The mid-ocean ridges, born from molten rock rising through the crust, stretch for more than 60,000 kilometers around the planet. Some peaks rise higher than the Himalayas, but remain unseen, cloaked in darkness and cold. Here, the Earth continuously renews itself, creating fresh crust as lava cools and solidifies, slowly pushing continents apart. Hydrothermal vents along these ridges release heat and minerals, forming shimmering towers and nurturing entire ecosystems of strange, glowing life. These mountains are silent architects, sculpting the seafloor, guiding currents, and anchoring the rhythm of tectonic drift. Though invisible to most eyes, they represent the planet's pulse, the living proof that creation never ended. It simply moved beneath the waves. The ocean floor, unseen and vast, is Earth's secret landscape, alive with quiet, geological grace. In the deep ocean, where sunlight never reaches, life glows with its own radiance. Bioluminescent creatures drift through black water, painting the dark with blue and green halos of light. Tiny plankton spark like stars. Jellyfish pulse with rhythmic glows, and fish shimmer in flashes meant to confuse or attract. Each light is a conversation for mating, for hunting, for camouflage, a language written in color and motion. Scientists believe most bioluminescent species remain undiscovered, hidden in depths we've barely touched. To look into that darkness is to witness a mirror of the night sky. Constellations born of living things. The ocean and the heavens share this symmetry, both illuminated by energy that travels without sound. In those quiet depths, life has learned to make its own light, proving that illumination doesn't need the sun, only persistence and the will to be seen. Every tide that rises and falls is the ocean breathing with the moon. Their gravitational pull binds them in eternal rhythm. A soft conversation between water and sky. When the moon draws near, the sea lifts in quiet response. When it drifts away, the waves exhale. This dance has lasted for billions of years, shaping coastlines, guiding migrations, and setting the tempo for life itself. Crabs, corals, and even human hearts beat to its subtle influence. Standing at a shore, feeling the pull beneath your feet, you're sensing the same force that once stirred the first cells to motion. The tide is memory, a pulse older than thought, moving without pause or error. Through it, the planet keeps time, not with clocks, but with gravity's music. Every wave that touches land is a reminder that the Earth is alive, breathing quietly in harmony with its moon. Beneath our feet, the ground that seems so solid is slowly drifting. Earth's surface is divided into vast tectonic plates that move a few centimeters each year, the speed of growing fingernails. Over millions of years, this quiet motion rearranges the face of the planet. Oceans open and close. Mountains rise and crumble. Continents drift across latitudes, like slow ships on a molten sea. The energy driving it comes from heat deep within the Earth. The same fire that shaped the planet's beginning, though we rarely feel it. This slow dance never stops. Continents are not fixed but fluid, pieces of an ever-changing puzzle. When you walk across the ground, you are standing on a traveler, a slab of crust migrating across a living world. Even stillness is motion here, the silent patience of stone carried forward by the breath of the planet itself. Sometimes, when the pressure beneath becomes too great, the Earth speaks in tremors. Earthquakes are not anger, but balance the planet, releasing tension built over centuries. Fault lines mark where plates grind against each other, their friction storing invisible energy until it slips in an instant. Mountains shudder, rivers ripple, and the ground itself becomes sound. For a moment, the illusion of stillness disappears, and we remember that the planet is alive. Most quakes go unnoticed. Soft adjustment deep below, part of a constant conversation between crust and mantle. Others remind us how powerful that balance can be. Yet even destruction has purpose. Fault zones create follies, uplift mountains, and open paths for rivers. The shaking is simply part of Earth's heartbeat, a necessary rhythm in its long, quiet life. The movement of stone, finding harmony again beneath the weight of time. Volcanoes are Earth's way of breathing fire, ancient vents that recycle the planet from within. When pressure builds in the mantle, molten rock rises through cracks, emerging as lava that cools into new crust. In this way, Earth renews itself, turning deep heat into solid ground. The gases released carbon dioxide, water vapor, sulfur feed the atmosphere, replenishing what erosion and time take away. Though their eruptions can seem violent, volcanoes are vital to balance entire islands. Even continents were born from their ash. Their slopes grow fertile. Their minerals feed forests and oceans. The fire that destroys also creates. The same way lightning nourishes soil. If you've ever watched the glow of magma against night, you've seen the Earth remembering its birth molten, breathing, restless, alive. Each eruption is a reminder that beneath our calm, this world is still being made, one fiery breath at a time. The continents beneath our feet are not static, they are travelers, moving on a slow but endless voyage. Africa drifts north toward Europe. Australia sails east across open sea. The Americas creep westward, carried by the spreading floor of the Atlantic. Each plate's journey shapes climate, life, and history, drawing new coastlines while erasing old ones. The Himalayas rose when India collided with Asia. The Andes formed as South America pressed against the Pacific floor, even as we build cities and draw borders. The ground beneath them is moving, indifferent to time and nations. This motion, invisible day by day, defines the story of Earth. The continents have wandered since the beginning, once joined in a single supercontinent, then separated by ocean's slow breath. To live on Earth is to travel unknowingly, carried across the planet's surface by the ceaseless drift of deep, unseen tides of stone. Every mountain we see today was once part of an ancient sea. Over ages, sediments settled on ocean floors, layer upon layer, compressing into stone. Then, through the slow heave of tectonic motion, those seabeds were lifted skyward, transformed into peaks that now touch clouds. In their cliffs and valleys, fossils of coral and shell still lie, hidden reminders that even the highest summits were born of water. Mountains are the planet's memory written in rock, the poetry of time carved into shape by pressure and patience. Rain and wind sculpt them, glaciers smooth their edges, and gravity returns them to dust, beginning the cycle again. When you stand on a mountain ridge and feel the wind, you are standing atop what was once the ocean's floor, the Earth's ancient exhale, solidified proof that nothing in this world ever truly stays where it began. High above the ground, Earth wears a soft blue veil. Its atmosphere, this thin film of gases, barely a few hundred kilometers thick, separates the world of life from the silence of space. It scatters sunlight into blue and blush, bent starlight at night, and keeps warmth from escaping too quickly. Each layer, from troposphere to exosphere, plays its part, carrying weather, protecting oceans, and filtering light. Without it, the sky would be black. Even at noon, the air may seem weightless, yet it presses on everything with gentle persistence, binding sea and soil in the same rhythm. From orbit, that veil looks impossibly fragile, a glowing halo around a dark sphere, yet within it, everything that breathes finds shelter. The atmosphere is not just air, it is balance made visible, a silent guardian that turns sunlight and gas into the miracle we call home. Every breath you take carries atoms that have been here for billions of years, recycled endlessly through lungs, leaves, and oceans. The oxygen that fills your chest once flowed through dinosaurs, drifted above forests long vanished, or froze in ancient polar air. The carbon you exhale may one day rise through volcanic steam or fall as rain into coral reefs. Air is the planet's shared inheritance, connecting all living things across time. With each inhale, you borrow from the world. With each exhale, you return something to it. This invisible exchange links every life that has ever existed in one long conversation. It is the same air that cooled magma, that whirled around early trees, that carried the first birds into sky. To breathe is to join the oldest rhythm on Earth, the planet's eternal sigh. Gentle, constant, and full of memory. The winds that travel across the Earth form invisible ribbons encircling the planet, carrying heat, moisture, and memory from one hemisphere to another. They rise over mountains, skim over oceans, and weave through forests, shaping climate and weather. These currents follow patterns born of sunlight and rotation, the great jet streams that race above us, the trade winds that guided explorers, the monsoons that feed entire continents. Though we cannot see them, we can feel their touch. The brush of movement that reminds us the air is alive. Each gust carries something from elsewhere: desert dust, ocean salt, tea pollen, whispers of faraway rain. Winds tie the planet together, making one world from many places. In their endless circulation, they erase distance, blending histories in motion. They are the breath between land and sky, the quiet threads that keep Earth's balance turning without pause or boundary. High in the sky, an invisible shield protects all life below the ozone layer. It absorbs the sun's most dangerous ultraviolet rays, transforming them into gentle warmth. Without it, oceans would boil, forests would vanish, and DNA itself would unravel in sunlight. Yet this delicate layer is only a few molecules thick, suspended like a curtain 30 kilometers above our heads. In the 20th century, humanity nearly tore a hole in it through the careless use of chemicals. But when the danger became clear, nations acted together. Slowly, the ozone began to heal, a rare story of restoration on a planetary scale. Its quiet endurance now reminds us that the atmosphere can recover if we give it time. Every sunrise filtered through that shield is a gift, proof that protection can be invisible, yet absolute, guarding the fragile skin of life from the fire above. Even when the air feels still, the planet is breathing. Gases move between ocean, forest, and sky, trading carbon for oxygen, warmth for calm. Each leaf draws in sunlight and exhales life. Each wave releases invisible vapor into the wind. This cycle is so vast, we rarely notice it. Yet it shapes everything: temperature, climate, the rhythm of days. Even human lungs echo this motion, small replicas of the world's greater respiration. Storms may rage, winds may rest, but the exchange never stops. The atmosphere is alive, shifting in currents too soft to hear, turning over with the patience of millennia. When you breathe quietly at night, you join that endless rhythm, your inhale part of the planet's exhale, your stillness part of its calm. The air moves through you, through trees, through oceans, linking everything that has ever needed to live. The light that warms your skin each morning began its journey 8 minutes ago, born in the heart of the sun, where atoms fuse in endless fire for thousands of years. That light travels outward through layers of plasma until it finally escapes into space, racing across 93 million miles to touch Earth. By the time it arrives, it has crossed a vacuum vast enough to swallow imagination. Yet it still feels gentle, golden, alive. Each photon that lands here carries energy older than life itself, the same warmth that has kindled forests, stirred oceans, and shaped every dawn since the world began. The sun's light is both ancient and immediate, both memory and presence. Every sunrise is proof that time can travel, that something born in flame can cross eternity and arrive softly, quietly, without demand, only the wish to shine and be received. Every dawn is a reunion with ancient light. The glow that spills across mountains and cities is not new but renewed sunlight, returning after its long passage through darkness. As Earth turns, the line between night and day slides gently westward, washing over oceans and valleys like a calm tide of fire. Each morning, the same star greets a different face of the planet, illuminating clouds, forests, and rivers in new combinations of color and shadow. No two dawns are ever the same, yet each carries the same promise, that warmth will return, that light always finds its way. For every creature that stirs awake, the sunrise is a quiet reassurance that the universe remembers. It is ancient energy reborn in the present moment, a constant reminder that we live on a world designed for renewal, always revolving, always returning to light. The rhythm of the seasons is born from a single, graceful detail, Earth's gentle tilt. At 23.5 degrees, that lean gives the planet balance and rhythm, allowing light to shift its focus through the year. When the northern hemisphere leans toward the sun, warmth and growth return. When it turns away, the world rests under softer skies. Every spring and autumn, the planet pauses mid-turn, caught in the delicate moment between abundance and retreat. This slow oscillation is the heartbeat of climate and life, guiding migrations, harvests, and tides. Without the tilt, there would be no variation, only endless sameness. But because of it, the world breathes in cycles of warmth and coolness, of light and shadow. The seasons are the Earth's way of keeping time, proof that change itself can be beautiful, that balance lives not in stillness, but in motion. Through the quiet miracle of photosynthesis, sunlight becomes the planet's pulse. In every leaf, blade of grass, and strand of algae, chlorophyll captures photons, fragments of light that traveled across space, and transforms them into energy, releasing oxygen in exchange. This process fuels nearly all life on Earth. Directly or indirectly, it feeds forests, oceans, and us. Each breath we take is a small echo of that transformation, a shared inheritance of green life and starlight. The world's forests are vast lungs, exhaling the very air we need to live, powered entirely by the sun. When the wind moves through trees, you can almost hear it, the sound of light turning into life, the faint rustle of creation in progress. Photosynthesis is not just chemistry, it is translation, the sun speaking in the language of leaves, telling Earth, again and again, to live. Even shadows are proof that we live in light. When the sun rises, every shape on Earth carves a brief silence into brightness, a dark outline that defines the glow around it. Shadows move gently across the day, marking time with their slow, graceful retreat. Without light, there would be no contrast, no way to see form or motion. Even night owes its meaning to the memory of brightness. Every tree, building, and person creates their own geometry of shade, reminding us that illumination and obscurity coexist. A shadow is not absence. It is evidence, the echo of light's presence meeting matter. Watching one stretch and fade is watching time itself unfold in colorless motion. When evening comes and shadows lengthen into night, they do not erase the light, they carry it, storing its warmth until dawn returns again. Calm and faithful as breath. In your hand, a small scoop of soil may look simple brown, silent, still, yet it contains more living organisms than there are stars in the galaxy. Within that handful exist billions of bacteria, fungi, and microscopic creatures, each shaping the chemistry of the world beneath our feet. They recycle decay into nourishment, turning fallen leaves into future forests. Every inch of soil is a living universe, constantly exchanging energy with air, root, and rain. Without it, no plant could grow, No oxygen could be made, and no food could form. It is the quiet foundation of all life, built grain by grain over millions of years. When you walk across grass or forest floor, you're moving above an invisible city of life, intricate, humming, and eternal. The ground is not dead matter, it is breathing, patient, and always at work beneath the calm surface. Beneath the forests, hidden from sight, spreads a vast and ancient network of fungi threads, so fine they weave roots together into living communication. These filaments, called mycorrhizae, connect trees across entire ecosystems, allowing them to share nutrients, warnings, and signals of stress. Through this underground web, old trees feed saplings shaded from light, and dying trunks give their last strength to the next generation. Scientists call it the Wood Wide Web, but it is older than language itself, nature's original internet, written in sugar and minerals. This fungal network is the planet thinking in slow motion, a whispering system of generosity and balance. Though it moves silently, it binds every root to every other, turning separate beings into a single forest mind. Beneath the soil, cooperation has always outlasted competition, proving that strength in nature is measured not by power, but by connection. Every tree on Earth carries the memory of storms it has endured. Within its rings are stories of sunlight and scarcity, of wind and frost, of droughts that passed and rains that returned. Each circle marks a year of survival, recorded in the slow growth of living wood. When lightning splits, a trunk or wind bends a branch. The tree does not forget, it adapts, rerouting its energy toward balance. Its scars become architecture, strength hidden in pattern. Walk through a forest, and you are surrounded by quiet resilience, lives that have bent but not broken, rooted yet, always reaching upward. The air around them is shaped by their persistence, filled with oxygen born from hardship. A forest is not still, it is memory made green. Every trunk, a living archive of endurance. When the wind moves through leaves, it's as if the trees are speaking softly of all they've survived and all they continue to grow towards. Across vast grasslands, life flows through the rhythm of air and root. Each blade of grass plays a role in the planet's breathing, absorbing carbon from the atmosphere, storing it in soil, and releasing oxygen back into sky. When wind passes over fields, invisible exchanges take place, small transactions that sustain the planet's balance. Beneath the surface, roots bind soil together, while microbes turn fallen matter into nourishment. These open plains may seem simple, but they are intricate engines of climate and renewal. Grasslands feed herds, calm weather, and filter rain into rivers. Their cycles are slower than storms, but just as essential. The scent of earth after rain, the shimmer of sunlight over endless fields. These are signs of a planet inhaling and exhaling in peace. Grasslands are not just land, they are the lungs of continents, breathing quietly beneath open sky. Even deserts, which seem barren and lifeless, are full of patience. Beneath the hot silence, seeds lie dormant for years, waiting for a single drop of rain. When that moment comes, the landscape transforms overnight. Flowers bloom, colors return, and the air fills with the scent of brief abundance. The soil itself is alive, holding moisture deep below, storing memory of the last storm. Winds sculpt dunes into waves, shifting with grace that takes centuries to see. Many desert creatures live unseen, moving only when the air cools, their lives synchronized with the planet's slow rhythm. The desert's beauty is not in abundance, but in restraint, in its quiet confidence that life always returns when the time is right. It teaches that growth doesn't need haste, it only needs faith in renewal, and the patience to wait for water to fall again. The oldest rocks on Earth are more than 4 billion years old, fragments of the planet's first solid surface that have survived the long patience of time. They lie hidden in remote corners of Greenland, Canada, and Australia, holding chemical traces of the oceans and atmospheres that once surrounded them. These stones are memory made solid, the planet's earliest handwriting etched in mineral form. Within their structure are the signatures of ancient heat, pressure, and cooling, the rhythm of Earth's first breath. When we touch them, we are touching the infancy of our world, to a time when continents were still liquid ideas and mountains had yet to rise. Their endurance is quiet but absolute. They remind us that everything built on Earth stands upon its oldest stories, that beneath our feet lies a history written not in ink or word, but in the unhurried script of stone. Crystals grow silently in the dark, deep within the planet, or hidden in cracks where water once flowed. They form atom by atom, aligning themselves into perfect symmetry, shaped not by chance but by temperature, pressure, and patience. Some grow over thousands of years, others in an instant, yet each one captures a record of the conditions that made it. Light refracts through them, splitting into rainbows that reveal the order within their invisible structure. Every gem, every grain of quartz, is a frozen moment of balance between chaos and calm. They are the planet's way of pausing, holding beauty in stillness while everything else moves. The crystals we wear or study are not decoration. They are messages from the deep, reminders that even in darkness, form and clarity can arise, quietly and without noise, simply by giving time the space to arrange itself perfectly. Every pebble you hold in your hand was once alive with heat, part of a world that burned long ago. Deep beneath oceans or mountains, molten rock flowed and cooled, shaping itself into the solid forms we now scatter on shores and paths. Through erosion, pressure, and the slow work of water, those massive stones were broken down, transformed from mountain to boulder, from boulder to pebble. Each smooth edge is a record of its journey, a conversation between matter and movement. The pebble's silence hides its endurance. It has rolled through rivers, rested in valleys, and watched continents drift. What seems small and simple is actually timeless, a fragment of Earth's vast circulation of fire and stone. When you hold one, you are holding a traveler older than civilization, polished not by time alone, but by patience, the touch of wind, water, and the planet's endless turning. Mountains rise, crumble, and rise again, reshaped by the same forces that first built the Earth. Deep below, tectonic plates collide, forcing rock upward in slow, unstoppable motion. Over millions of years, jagged peaks push toward the sky, only to be worn away by wind, rain, and frost. Their stones fall into rivers, turn to sand, drift to sea, and eventually are drawn back underground to melt, reform, and ascend once more. Every range on Earth is a pulse in this cycle, a heartbeat of uplift and decay. Even the tallest summits will one day become grains beneath another's base. The beauty of mountains lies not in permanence, but in renewal. Their shapes are the planet's breathing, slow and immense. When you stand upon one, you stand inside that rhythm, part of a process older than memory and destined never to end. The earth never forgets its shape, it only reshapes it. Every valley, ridge, and coastline is a draft in progress, rewritten by wind, water, and gravity. Rocks crushed into sand, sand pressed into stone. The cycle repeats without haste. What seems still is only slow. The illusion of permanence in a world that never truly stops. Canyons deepen with each drop of rain. Cliffs retreat one grain at a time. The continents themselves are sculpted memories, constantly edited by the elements. Even scars left by glaciers or meteor strikes eventually fade into gentler forms. Nothing is truly lost. It simply changes posture, shifting into balance again. The Earth's memory is not linear but circular, written and rewritten in texture and layer. When you touch stone, if you touch that memory, the patience of a planet that has spent billions of years learning how to begin again. The water you drink today has existed since before humankind, a traveler older than memory. Every molecule has cycled through clouds, oceans, and living bodies countless times. It once rained on prehistoric forests, froze inside glaciers, and filled the lungs of ancient creatures. When you lift a glass, you're touching the same water that cooled the planet's first stones and floated the earliest leaves. It has fallen as snow, risen as mist, flowed through rivers, and slept underground for millennia. Water never disappears. It transforms, moving in endless circles between sky, soil, and sea. It carries whispers of everything it has touched: minerals, mountains, breath, and time itself. Each drop is a tiny mirror of Earth's persistence, proof that renewal does not require creation, only motion. When you drink, you participate in a cycle older than life, older than light, older than thought. Every raindrop that falls begins its journey as a speck of dust. Invisible particles rise into the air, carried by wind or waves, becoming tiny anchors for vapor to cling to. Around these seeds, moisture condenses and cools until the weight of gravity pulls it downward again. Each drop gathers and releases energy, completing a single loop in Earth's endless exchange between sky and sea. No two raindrops are ever exactly the same, yet all share the same purpose: to connect the heavens with the ground. As they fall, they polish the air, collect salt, and scatter light, turning storms into shimmering veils. Even in the fiercest rain, the world is being renewed molecule by molecule. The next time you feel water on your skin, remember that you are being touched by ancient dust and recycled sky, falling together in the quiet rhythm of return. Snowflakes form high in the clouds, born from air so cold it sculpts vapor into geometry. Each flake begins as a crystal around a single particle of dust or salt, branching outward in perfect symmetry shaped by temperature, humidity, and wind. No two are identical because no two journeys through the atmosphere are the same, yet all share a six-fold pattern, a frozen memory of water's molecular design. When snow falls, it carries silence with it, softening sound and slowing the world into stillness. Under a microscope, each flake is a masterpiece of order written by chance. They melt, refreeze, and melt again, feeding rivers and soil when the season turns. Every snowflake is temporary, yet its form reflects something eternal, the planet's quiet artistry. In their brief existence, they teach that beauty doesn't need to last, it only needs to appear once, perfectly, before returning to water again. Rivers carve their names into stone with patience, so vast it becomes music. Beginning as raindrops on mountains, they gather into streams and flow toward the sea, carrying fragments of earth with them. Over centuries, they shape valleys and canyons, polishing boulders into smooth memory. Bend records resistance. Each waterfall, a sentence in the planet's slow story. Rivers never rush. Even when they appear to their pace is steady, constant, inevitable. They connect sky to ocean, mountain to plain, history to renewal. The water you see is never the same twice. Yet the river remains. In its current, you can feel both change and permanence flowing together. Stand beside one and listen. It is the sound of motion made eternal. The voice of earth writing itself again and again into the body of the land, carving light, stone, and time into harmony. Clouds are the sky's way of remembering oceans. They form when sunlight warms the sea, lifting vapor upward until it cools and gathers into visible mist. Each cloud is water on its way home, carrying the memory of salt, wind, and wave from below. They appear weightless, but a single cloud can hold millions of tons of water, a floating reservoir suspended by invisible balance. They change shape with mood and light, painting the sky in constant motion. Sometimes they weep, sometimes they drift in silence, their shadows moving softly across the land. When the sun sets, they catch its last colors, glowing with borrowed fire before fading into night. Clouds are bridges between worlds, between sea and sky, between light and rain. When you look up and see them pass, you are watching the ocean dream of returning to itself once more. Long ago, before the seas had names or the continents had form, the moon was part of the earth. A colossal impact, a wandering planet striking our young world tore molten rock into orbit, where gravity gathered it into a sphere. That glowing fragment cooled, hardened, and became the companion that has circled us ever since. The moon carries the scars of that birth, craters frozen in time, plains of ancient lava, silence that has lasted for billions of years. Though lifeless, it has shaped every life on Earth, steadying our tilt, calming our tides, marking our nights. When we look up, we see a mirror of our own origin, still following the path carved from that first explosion. The bond between Earth and Moon is not distance, but memory, a reminder that even from separation, beauty and balance can be born. The Moon's steady pull slows Earth's rotation, gently lengthening our days over time. In the planet's youth, a single day lasted barely 6 hours. As the centuries unfolded, tidal friction between the two worlds transferred energy from Earth's spin into the Moon's orbit, pushing it slowly farther away while calming our planet's spin. The result is balance, a cosmic exchange that keeps both bodies in rhythm. We owe our stable seasons and moderate climate to this subtle drag. The relationship is tender and exact, gravity's touch, always constant, never forceful. Each passing moment, the moon drifts a little farther, but its influence remains. A quiet hand on Earth's shoulder, time itself adjusts to this pace, ticking in harmony with the slowing spin. The moon doesn't simply orbit us, it teaches the planet to rest, to turn more slowly, to breathe between rotations. Every coast, every estuary, every migrating creature knows the rhythm of tides, the Earth's slow heartbeat guided by the moon. Twice each day, the ocean rises and falls, pulled gently by lunar gravity. The water stretches toward the moon on one side and away on the other, creating a global pulse that never stops. These tides shape shorelines, nurture coral reefs, and guide the movements of countless animals that follow their schedule as faithfully as sunrise. From the smallest plankton to great whales, life on Earth listens to the moon's invisible call. Even human history has been written in its rhythm ports, built to match high water. Calendars aligned to its phases. The tide is not merely water moving, it is the planet responding to its oldest companion. Through the moon, the Earth learned to move in cycles, to measure time not in clocks, but in flow. Lunar light is borrowed, light sunlight, reflected from dust and stone. It carries no warmth, yet it fills the night with a calm glow, turning darkness into quiet silver. The moon does not shine by itself, it only gives back what it receives. In this gentle exchange, we find a lesson. Reflection is a kind of illumination too. Poets and wanderers have always looked to it for comfort, sensing something eternal in its steady return. Its phases waxing to full, waning, new mark time, not by brightness, but by rhythm. Under that pale light, shadows soften, ocean gleam, and the world exhales. It is a light that asks nothing, that changes yet remains constant, that reminds us how beauty can exist without fire. The moon's glow belongs to everyone who has ever looked up and felt the same hush beneath its silver silence. Time itself is measured by the dance between Earth and moon. Our months trace its orbit. Our tides mark its pull. Our calendars still echo its rhythm. Even the length of a day is shaped by their exchange. The slowing spin, the outward drift. The moon has been our first clock. Its phases teaching early humans how to count and predict the passing of time. Its presence in the sky made night measurable, turning eternity into cycles we could understand. Each orbit is a reminder that time is not linear but circular, returning endlessly to where it began. The moon and Earth move in perfect balance, one spinning, one circling, both influencing each other's pace. Their gravity keeps the rhythm steady, a celestial pendulum swinging across eons. Through that movement, we have learned to tell stories, to plant, to rest, to live within time's gentle pattern. Long before humans walked the earth, photosynthesis was already at work, a quiet alchemy turning sunlight into life. Tiny organisms learned to capture photons, using them to build sugars and release oxygen into the air. Over billions of years, that invisible process transformed the planet's atmosphere, filling it with the breath we now depend on. Every tree, every leaf, every patch of green continues this work, linking us to the same rhythm that began in ancient seas. The oxygen you inhale tonight was once part of sunlight, translated through a leaf's gentle chemistry. Photosynthesis is the planet's original language, a promise written in light. When you stand beneath a forest canopy, you're surrounded by an unbroken chain of this quiet creation. It is the breath of Earth made visible. The moment starlight becomes air, the endless conversation between sky, leaf, and life itself. Every heartbeat on Earth mirrors the rhythm of the tides. Blood moves through veins as water moves through ocean channels drawn and released in endless circulation. The same gravitational forces that sway the seas guide our internal tides. Subtle but real, each pulse you feel beneath your skin echoes a larger, older rhythm, the planet's flow of water, moonlight, and motion. The heart does not beat against the world, it beats with it. When you slow your breath, your pulse begins to match the calm of waves retreating from shore, the quiet tempo that has shaped all life since its beginning. Our bodies are tuned to this balance without realizing it, carrying within them the same patterns that guide winds, currents, and rain. To live is to participate in this rhythm, to let your heartbeat sound in harmony with the pulse of the earth itself. Birds travel across continents with astonishing precision, guided not by sight alone, but by the Earth's magnetic field, an invisible map written into their senses. Inside their bodies, tiny crystals of magnetite act as compasses, detecting the planet's unseen currents. Even on moonless nights or across featureless oceans, they find their way, tracing invisible highways across the sky. The magnetic field that shields the planet from solar winds also whispers direction to wings in flight. Each migration is both journey and inheritance patterns passed through generations, encoded in instinct and magnetism. Watching a flock move in perfect formation, you witness the Earth guiding its own children through unseen lines of force. They are not lost. They are simply following home's quiet signal. The planet itself shows them the way, proving that even the air holds memory. And every traveler is tethered to the world's magnetic song. Coral reefs, delicate and ancient, are living calendars of sunlight. Each polyp builds its limestone home in rhythm with the turning earth, layer upon layer, recording the passage of days, seasons, and centuries in their colors and shapes. Reefs mirror the quality of light, warm reds and golds where the sun is strong, soft blues where it fades. Their very structure is a record of time's patience, of water's warmth and clarity. When sunlight weakens or temperatures shift, the corals pale, their color fading like an erased note in the planet's symphony. Yet when balance returns, life glows again, reclaiming its brilliance. The reefs are the ocean's memory made living, archives written not in stone but in color and form. To swim among them is to drift through time itself, surrounded by beauty that grows in rhythm with the sun's eternal rise and fall. Life and Earth are not separate stories. They are one continuous movement, each shaping the other in silent collaboration. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the warmth we feel, all are the planet speaking through living form, from bacteria to forests, whales to humans. Every organism is a note in the same long song of survival and renewal. Life molds the Earth's surface, and Earth nurtures the lives that remake it again. It is a partnership written in cycles, water to rain, soil to growth, life to memory. When you watch clouds drift or leaves turn toward the light, you are seeing that connection at work, the planet thinking, feeling, existing through the living beings it sustains. We are not on Earth, we are of it. And our movement, like its rotation, is the quiet continuation of its dream. Every atom in your body once belonged to something ancient. The carbon in your skin was forged inside a star. The calcium in your bones from the shells of ancient seas. The oxygen in your lungs from forests long turned to dust. You are a mosaic of history starlight, stone, and living memory combined. Every heartbeat echoes billions of years of transformation. Every breath participates in a cycle older than language. The same particles that drift through you now once floated through dinosaurs, glaciers, and clouds. When you touch water, you're touching the same molecules that cooled the planet's first rocks. You are not apart from the Earth's story. You are the latest sentence in it. Even your thoughts, electric, fleeting, are made possible by minerals that once slept inside mountains. You are a continuation of everything that has ever existed. Walking in borrowed time and shared matter, your bones carry the story of oceans and stars. The calcium that makes them strong was once dissolved in ancient seas, drawn upward through coral, shell, and fish before finding its way into you. The iron in your blood was born in the explosion of long-dead stars, scattered across space before settling into the dust that became Earth. Within you flows the chemistry of creation, salt from the ocean, minerals from the crust, light from the sun made flesh. You are not merely living on this planet. You are the planet rearranged, breathing, thinking, remembering. Every cell holds a record of tides and fire, of energy passed down through the ages. When you move, the earth moves again in new form. When you rest, you return to its stillness. You are made of both water and flame, the meeting point where cosmos and planet learn to dream together. Seen from orbit, human cities glow like constellations, bright threads woven across the dark fabric of the planet. From that distance, the boundaries between nations disappear, replaced by gentle networks of light-tracing coastlines and rivers. Each luminous cluster is a sign of warmth, energy, and life, our attempt to mirror the stars that made us. Yet, from space, our brilliance looks fragile, fleeting compared to the ancient glow of the planet itself. The lights we create are temporary fires, flickering against the slow, patient rhythm of the earth below. Still, there is beauty in their pattern, a sign that consciousness has awakened within the world it shaped. The cities shimmer like signals, proof that the planet has begun to think through us. We are both the observers and the observed. Sparks upon the skin of a living sphere, shining for a brief, luminous moment in time. The earth reflects our balance and our forgetting. Its forests grow or fade in rhythm with our choices. Its air warms or cools according to our care. Rivers change course under our hands. And the climate listens quietly to every act of creation or neglect. When we remember our belonging, the world responds in kind. Soil regenerates. Species return. Skies clear. When we forget, the feedback is gentle at first, a reminder, not a punishment. The planet mirrors us, showing not judgment, but connection. It doesn't need words to speak. Its language is response. The balance of rain, the rise of temperature, the silence where once there was song, all are reflections of our presence. The earth is not asking for apology, it is asking for attention. When we listen, the dialogue resumes, and the world breathes easier through us again. Even in our noise, the earth remains patient. Cities thunder with engines, skies pulse with satellites, and the hum of technology fills the air yet beneath it all. The planet keeps its calm. The soil continues to turn. Trees continue to grow. Tides continue to rise and fall. The Earth absorbs our chaos the way it always has, waiting for us to remember its rhythm. Its patience is not indifference, but understanding it has seen countless upheavals before. To the Earth, our noise is only weather, passing through before the return of quiet. Somewhere beyond the sound of machines, the heartbeat of the planet still echoes, steady and unchanged. If you pause long enough, you can hear it beneath the static wind through leaves, waves against stone, the pulse beneath your feet. The world has not lost its calm. It simply waits for us to rediscover it. Glaciers move slower than thought, yet they shape continents with unstoppable grace. Each one is a river of ancient ice, flowing so gradually that a lifetime passes unnoticed. Yet their weight carves mountains and valleys, rewriting the planet's surface inch by inch. They hold within them the memory of ages, snow that fell before civilization, air trapped from forgotten atmospheres. When they melt, they feed rivers that sustain billions of lives. When they advance, they grind stone into soil. Though they seem silent, their motion hums deep within the Earth's rhythm, sculpting landscapes through pure patience. Standing before one, you feel time stretch, slowing to the pace of ice and gravity. Glaciers are proof that stillness can move mountains, that progress doesn't need haste, only endurance. Their retreat and return are part of the planet's breath, a long, slow inhale and exhale of frozen light. Forests migrate with climate, drifting slowly across the face of the planet as temperatures and seasons change. Trees do not walk, but their seeds travel carried by wind, water, and wing to places where conditions have shifted just enough for growth. Over centuries, these migrations reshape entire continents, following rain and warmth the way animals follow food. Ancient pollen buried in lakes and soils tells the story of forests in motion, their resilience, their quiet adaptability. Even as ice ages advance and retreat, life finds a way to move with balance, never resisting change, only adjusting to it. The forest we see today is not where it began. It is the latest expression of an endless journey. Each sapling that rises at the edge of a field is part of this migration. The earth growing itself forward, one patient root at a time. Across the deserts, sand dunes walk not quickly, but endlessly, grain by grain. Wind pushes them forward, reshaping the landscape over years, centuries, and entire civilizations. Their motion is both gentle and relentless, a living rhythm of erosion and creation. No two dunes are ever the same for long. They drift, merge, and separate like slow-moving waves. Beneath them, traces of ancient rivers and lost forests sleep in silence, waiting for the sands to move on. Though they seem barren, dunes are full of sound, the low hum of shifting grains, the whisper of the wind shaping form from emptiness. To stand among them is to feel time loosen its grip, replaced by the slow pulse of the earth's breathing. The desert walks without legs, moves without noise, and reminds us that change is constant even in stillness, that motion can exist within silence. Coral grows towards sunlight, millimeter by millimeter, building vast underwater cities of color and pattern. Each polyp, small as a grain of rice, adds to the architecture, drawing calcium from seawater to form stone-like skeletons that rise into reefs. Over centuries, these tiny builders create structures large enough to be seen from space sanctuaries for fish, nurseries for life. Their rhythm is guided by light, their shapes mirroring the slow dance of the waves above. Even as storms pass and waters shift, coral persists, always reaching upward, rebuilding what has been broken. When conditions are kind, reefs flourish. When the water warms, they fade, waiting for balance to return. Their patience is measured not in years, but in tides. Coral teaches that progress need not be visible to be real, that creation is often the smallest act, repeated faithfully across endless generations of light. Change is the planet's only constant peace. Every mountain, ocean, and breath of wind exists in motion, evolving, eroding, reforming. The continents drift, rivers reroute, and clouds rebuild themselves endlessly. Even the rocks underfoot are temporary, destined to return to dust and rise again. Change is not chaos, but harmony. The Earth's natural rhythm of renewal. Without it, the world would stagnate, unable to breathe or grow. Seasons, teethers, and life itself depend on this ceaseless exchange between loss and rebirth. When forests burn, new seeds awaken. When glaciers melt, new rivers form. Every transformation carries the quiet logic of continuation. The planet has no fear of change, only patience for its process. To live in tune with Earth is to accept that peace is not stillness, but movement. The world remains calm because it never stops becoming itself. Again and again, forever, deep beneath the crust, far below the oceans and stone, the Earth's core spins faster than the surface above it. This hidden motion, driven by heat and pressure, keeps the planet alive in ways we cannot see. The inner core is solid iron and nickel, surrounded by a molten outer layer that churns like a slow, fiery sea. As it turns, it stirs up immense currents of metal, generating the magnetic field that surrounds the Earth. This spinning heart beats silently, unseen, yet its rhythm shapes the planet's stability and shields it from cosmic harm. The core's extra speed, a fraction of a degree faster, may seem small, but it's enough to sustain the field that has protected life for billions of years. Beneath our feet lies not dead matter, but a restless engine of fire and motion, the molten heartbeat of the world. That invisible field, born from the planet's molten core, is our greatest guardian, shielding Earth from the sun's fierce solar winds. Without it, radiation would strip away our atmosphere and scorch the surface, leaving the planet cold and barren. Instead, the magnetic field deflects these charged particles, shaping them into streams that flow harmlessly past. It extends far into space, forming a protective bubble called the magnetosphere, a shield that has held steady for eons. Though unseen, its presence is everywhere, in compasses pointing north, in migrating birds finding their paths, in the soft safety of our breathable air. When solar storms strike, the field trembles but does not break, absorbing the energy and turning danger into beauty. The magnetic field is both armor and song, a hum of invisible protection surrounding every living thing, reminding us that safety can exist in silence. At the edges of that field, where solar winds meet Earth's upper atmosphere, light becomes dance. The aurora ribbons of green, violet, and gold swirl across polar skies, glowing with energy transformed. Charged particles spiral along magnetic lines, colliding with atoms of oxygen and nitrogen, releasing color into night. To those who watch from the ground, It feels like witnessing the planet breathe light. The aurora is not just a spectacle, it is communication between sun and earth, an exchange written in motion. Each flicker of color is a message, a sign that the planet's shield is holding, that balance endures. Ancient peoples called it spirit fire, skiriver, or dawn made visible. Scientists call it plasma and magnetism. Both are true. It is beauty, born from defense, the silent translation of cosmic chaos into a painting that moves across heaven's canvas, deep beneath mountains and oceans. Iron crystals align themselves like compass needles, forming the architecture of Earth's magnetic core. These tiny structures respond to pressure and heat, arranging in orderly patterns that mirror the planet's direction of spin. Over geological time, this alignment shifts as the magnetic poles wander, leaving behind records written in cooled rock. Ancient lava flows preserve these frozen compasses, telling us how the field has flipped and rebalanced countless times. Within that crystalline alignment lies both history and continuity, the memory of a planet adjusting to itself. Though invisible, this structure defines the magnetic field that guides everything from birds in flight to explorers at sea. The Earth's core is not chaos but quiet design, matter organizing itself into order under impossible conditions. The crystals within it whisper direction, holding the compass steady for every creature that has ever needed to find home. Without magnetism, life's navigation would fade into confusion. Birds would lose their way across continents. Whales would wander aimlessly through ocean depths. And even the delicate migration of butterflies would cease to follow its ancient paths. The magnetic field is more than protection. It is orientation, the invisible map that all life follows. Inside every living thing lies some small sensitivity to that field, a quiet awareness of north and south, of balance and flow. Humans, too, feel it subtly, through instinct, through calm, through the deep sense of direction that guides us, even without sight. Magnetism ties us to the Earth's core, linking our nervous systems to the planet's heartbeat. It is the unseen rhythm beneath instinct and return. The reason migration and home exist at all, the field hums beneath every step we take, keeping life aligned with the pulse of the planet itself. The blue of the sky is sunlight scattered in all directions. Its shorter wavelengths, the blues bouncing through air molecules more easily than any other color. Each ray of light splits and ricochets through the atmosphere until the entire dome above us glows like a calm ocean turned upside down. At sunrise and sunset, the angle changes, and those blue waves stretch into reds and golds, letting us watch time pass in color. The sky is not truly blue. It only appears so because light has been scattered thin. It is a gentle illusion, created fresh every moment by sunlight, meeting air. When you look upward, you are seeing the atmosphere paint itself with the sun's touch. That color is not static but alive, a new shade with every breath of wind, the planet's own version of eternal morning. The green of leaves is sunlight transformed into substance, stored and living through photosynthesis. Plants capture the energy of the sun and turn it into matter sugars, oxygen, and growth. The pigment chlorophyll absorbs red and blue light, reflecting green, which is why forests shimmer in that calming hue. Each leaf is a solar panel, a quiet laboratory where energy becomes life. The color you see is not just light bouncing off a surface, it's a signal that the planet is still breathing. Under that green, water moves, air exchanges, and roots feed from the soil. It is the color of balance, the point where sunlight meets nourishment. When wind ripples through trees, the motion becomes a kind of pulse, as if the earth itself were exhaling. The green world is living proof that light can become food, that radiance can take root and grow. The red of soil is the planet's oldest memory, ancient iron meeting oxygen and turning to rust. Long before life began, when Earth's air was young and thin, minerals at the surface reacted with the atmosphere, creating that deep, warm color that now covers deserts, cliffs, and canyons. Each grain of red dust is a fragment of transformation, a record of the planet learning to breathe. The same iron that stains the soil also flows in your blood, linking you to the Earth's chemical heart. When rain darkens that color or sunlight brings it to gold, you are seeing oxidation in motion, the slow, steady poetry of matter meeting air. Red Earth is more than ground, it is history visible, the surface telling its story of time and change. To walk across it is to move across the bones of a world that has been awake for billions of years. The white of clouds is light made visible, sunlight scattering through droplets of water and tiny ice crystals suspended in air. Each particle bends and reflects the full spectrum of color, blending it back into perfect brightness. Clouds are not solid, yet they carry mountains of water. They drift in shapes that shift with the wind, each one a temporary sculpture made of vapor and sun. Their whiteness changes with depth and shadow, glowing golden at dusk and silver beneath the moon. When they gather, the sky becomes a living canvas, painting emotion across the horizon, even in storm. That whiteness hides softness, the memory of sunlight waiting to return. Clouds remind us that light never truly disappears, it only transforms. Every bright sky and every darkened afternoon are part of the same story: illumination, movement, and quiet renewal. The black of night is not the color of emptiness, but the color of waiting. When the sun falls below the horizon, the sky simply reveals its truest self, a vast space unlit, yet full of unseen energy. The darkness between stars is not absence, it is depth, a canvas for light to be born again. Within it, the eyes adjust, the mind slows, and silence expands. It is in this darkness that rest finds us, that the body aligns with the planet's rhythm of shadow and calm. The night is not a void, but a pause, the universe breathing in before its next exhale of dawn. Its color is possibility, the quiet before creation. When you look into it, you are looking into time itself, into the patient stillness that allows light to exist at all. Night is the earth remembering how to dream, high above the clouds. Narrow bands of air, called jet streams, circle the planet like flowing ribbons. They race through the upper atmosphere at incredible speeds, carrying storms, shaping weather, and guiding the movement of clouds. These invisible rivers form where warm and cold air meet, marking the boundaries between seasons and hemispheres. Pilots use them to cross oceans faster, while birds feel their influence far below. The jet streams are the atmosphere's handwriting, constantly shifting yet beautifully ordered, tracing the pulse of the planet's rotation. When they change course, entire continents feel the effect. Rain arrives early, heatling us later. Wind patterns rewrite themselves. They are proof that the earth breathes in motion, that air moves with purpose, even where we cannot see it. The sky, it turns out, is not empty, it is alive, flowing endlessly around a spinning world of water and light. Storms are the planet's way of redistributing warmth, moving energy from equator to pole in spiraling choreography. When the sun heats the tropics, that energy must flow outward, and storms become its graceful messengers. Hurricanes rise from warm seas, their winds balancing temperature between regions. Blizzards, monsoons, and rain bands are all part of this ancient system, the earth cooling itself through movement. Though they can appear violent, storms are also acts of renewal, watering forests, stirring oceans, and shaping coastlines. Each drop of rain, each gust of wind, is part of the same global conversation between heat and balance. When thunder rolls across the sky, it is not anger but exhalation, the atmosphere releasing what it can no longer hold. Even destruction in nature often gives way to rebirth. Storms are not chaos, they are the rhythm of balance made visible, the breath of climate itself. Every few years, the Pacific Ocean inhales and exhales through the cycle known as El Niño and La Niña, the planet's great climate heartbeat. In El Niño years, warm waters spread eastward, changing rainfall patterns and weather around the world. In La Niña years, cooler waters gather in the west, shifting winds and storms in the opposite direction. These patterns have shaped civilizations, harvests, and ecosystems for millennia. They remind us that the ocean is not passive, but breathing, its surface rising and falling with planetary rhythm. Satellites may chart it, but ancient peoples already sensed its pulse in floods and droughts. When the ocean warms or cools, clouds rearrange, forests shift their seasons, and the planet recalibrates. El Niño and La Niña are not disruptions, they are balance correcting itself. The ocean's long, slow inhale and exhale, keeping the climate alive and endlessly in motion. Even still, air carries sound across oceans and mountains. Waves of pressure move through the atmosphere, invisible yet powerful enough to travel thousands of miles. The boom of a volcano, the crash of a distant storm, the hum of whale song under the sea, all find their way through this global medium of air and water. Every sound becomes part of the planet's shared vibration, a low, continuous symphony of life. Even silence is never truly empty. It holds the faint echo of wind, the tremor of distant motion. Scientists record these resonances as infrasound, the Earth's hidden voice, humming beneath human hearing. To listen carefully is to hear the world speaking in tone, not word. Air may seem still, but it is full of music, the ongoing, interconnected song of movement, life, and time carried softly through every layer of the sky. The planet's pulse never stops, it only slows, steadies, and begins again. From the circulation of oceans to the drift of clouds, everything moves in rhythm. Even the most motionless desert vibrates faintly with shifting air, and the deepest trenches of the sea echo with the heartbeat of tides. Earth's rotation, its magnetic hum, its flow of heat all combine into one vast, continuous rhythm of being. This pulse has endured through ice ages and extinctions, through fire and renewal, and it will continue long after we rest. The planet's stillness is only apparent. Beneath it lies motion older than memory. Each day and night are part of this pulse. Each season, a repetition of its calm cadence. When you listen closely, you can feel it beneath your feet, the soft, steady tempo of a world alive. turning slowly, patiently, in peace. Even after the sun slips below the horizon, the sky continues to glow, a quiet shimmer known as twilight. The light you see then is sunlight scattered high above by the upper atmosphere. Lingering long after direct rays have failed, it softens edges, stretches shadows, and turns air into color, indigo deepening to violet, fading into night. This afterglow reminds us that light never stops immediately. It lingers like memory, reluctant to leave. Even as stars begin to appear, the faint blue above the horizon is the day's last breath, holding on just a little longer. Every evening, this glow repeats the same promise that night is never absolute. That light always waits beneath the dark. It is a gentle transition, not an ending, but a pause. The world's way of dimming the lamp before drifting quietly into the calm of night. When lightning tears through the sky, it does more than illuminate, it creates. In the split second of its brilliant flash, temperatures soar higher than the surface of the sun, forcing nitrogen and oxygen in the air to combine into new compounds. These elements then fall with rain, feeding soil and plants with essential nutrients. A storm, fierce as it seems, is also an act of renewal, refreshing the chemistry of life. The air you breathe after a storm carries that sharp scent of ozone, a signature of lightning's work. It is the smell of rebirth, of the atmosphere briefly rewritten. Lightning connects clouds to earth, sky to ground, energy to matter, creating new life from sheer voltage. Every bolt is a reminder that creation often hides inside chaos, that even the most violent light can give something back, leaving behind nourishment. Not only thunder's echo, a rainbow is not an arch but a full circle. Though we see only half from the ground, the other half hides below the horizon, visible only from the sky, from mountains, plains, or dreams. Each droplet of water acts as a prism, bending sunlight into its 7 hues, arranging color from the pure logic of light. Rainbows are not objects but phenomena, existing only where light, air, and the right angle meet. They last moments, yet in those moments they turn rain into radiance, transforming weather into art. Ancient cultures called them bridges between worlds, and perhaps they are a fleeting link between storm and peace. Their beauty lies in their impermanence. They cannot be held or reached, only seen. Every rainbow is light, reminding us that color is everywhere, waiting for the right balance of reflection and time to become visible again. When starlight reaches Earth, it does so through air, dust, and distance, filtered and softened by the atmosphere until it becomes the familiar blue of night. The scattering of light that paints the daytime sky also shapes how we see stars, dimming the brightest and tinting them with faint color. What reaches your eyes has traveled for centuries, sometimes millennia, crossing space to arrive quietly in a moment of wonder. The light of Vega left before human history began. The light of Sirius travels still, bright and faithful. Our atmosphere does not block their beauty, it gentles it, turning cosmic fire into something dreamlike and close. Through that blue veil, the stars remind us that the universe is not distant but surrounding us, touching the air we breathe. Each flicker above is time itself, crossing eternity just to be seen once more. Light is the oldest traveler, and Earth its favorite resting place. Every beam, every photon, has wandered across unimaginable distances, through emptiness and dust. Before finding home on this small blue world, some arrive from the sun, fresh and fierce, others from stars that have already died. Their last whispers carried by light that outlives them. When that light meets oceans, it scatters into color. When it meets leaves, it becomes life. Even shadows are proof of its presence. Reminders that illumination surrounds us even when unseen. Light is both messenger and memory, the universe speaking in brightness. Here on Earth, it slows, reflects, refracts, and rests, making beauty out of physics. Every sunrise is a reunion. Every glow, a conversation between matter and the infinite. The planet, in turn, gives light form water, stone, eye, and soul transforming travel into belonging. Beneath the forest floor, trees speak in silence. Their roots stretch through soil and intertwine with networks of fungi, forming a vast underground web of communication. Through it, they share nutrients, warn of drought, and send signals of distress or growth. When one tree weakens, its neighbors respond, sending sugars and minerals through this living lattice. Scientists call it the mycorrhizal network, nature's internet, built long before humans learned to weave connections of our own. Every forest hums with this quiet exchange, invisible but constant. Each tree, both individual and collective, the roots are not just anchors, they are language, cooperation written in carbon. When you stand in a forest, you stand inside a conversation billions of years old, a living dialogue between trees, fungi, soil, and time. Beneath your feet, the earth is not still, it is whispering softly to itself. Whales move through the ocean like slow, deliberate tides, their migrations shaping the seas they travel. As they dive and surface, their massive bodies stir nutrients from the deep, bringing them upward to feed plankton and fish. When they exhale, their breath fertilizes the water, feeding the smallest forms of life that sustain the largest ecosystems. Even in death, their sinking bodies nourish the ocean floor for decades, creating oases of abundance in the dark. Their movement regulates currents and temperature. Their songs travel thousands of miles, guiding others through invisible highways. The ocean listens to them. The planet adjusts to their rhythm. Whales are not just inhabitants, but architects of the sea, living bridges between depth and surface, past and present. To hear their calls across the water is to hear the heartbeat of Earth itself. Deep, resonant, and beautifully unbroken. Bees are the planet's small miracle, tiny creatures whose work keeps forests, fields, and flowers alive. As they move from bloom to bloom, they transfer pollen, connecting plants in a web of renewal that feeds the entire world. Their flight paths are maps of abundance. Their buzzing is the sound of life exchanging itself. Without them, fruits would vanish, trees would weaken, and air itself would thin. They are architects of breath, turning blossoms into seeds and sunlight into sustenance. Inside their hives, the geometry of wax and motion mirrors the perfection of planetary order. Even their communication dances, traced in rhythm and vibration, is an echo of nature's larger language. Each bee carries more than nectar. It carries continuity. Through them, the planet breathes, renewing itself season after season, proving that even the smallest movement can sustain the balance of all living things. Weather begins in the wings of butterflies, when air stirs as they take flight. Those ripples of movement spread outward, merging with the endless flow of atmosphere. Though a single flutter seems too small to matter, it becomes part of a cascade of motion, one gust blending into another, until clouds shift and winds change. Scientists once called this the butterfly effect, how tiny actions can shape enormous outcomes. But in truth, it is simply how the world listens. Every motion joins the great rhythm of the air, reminding us that nothing exists in isolation. The flap of wings in a meadow may help form the pattern of rain halfway around the world. Within that fragility lies immense power, proof that influence can be gentle, that even the smallest life contributes to the weather of existence, stirring balance with the lightest, most beautiful touch. To change one thing on Earth is to whisper to all things. The planet operates in circles, not lines, every movement echoing through air, water, and stone. When a forest burns, clouds form differently. When an ocean warms, winds rearrange their routes. Life responds instantly. Even in silence, a bird alters its song. A flower blooms earlier. A current shifts course, each adaptation sending a signal through the web of being. Nothing happens alone because nothing has ever been separate. The planet's systems listen constantly to one another, adjusting like instruments in a single orchestra. The beauty of Earth lies in this connection, the way balance is maintained not through control, but through conversation. To exist here is to participate in that dialogue, whether through breath, motion, or kare. Every choice, every action, every moment is part of the world's continuous whisper of response. No two nights are ever the same anywhere on Earth. Each evening brings a different arrangement of clouds, temperature, and light, a living composition of silence and motion. The stars above may follow familiar paths, yet the air that carries their glow is always changing, bending and softening the view. Wind shifts, insects stir, and the subtle breath of the planet moves in rhythms too quiet to notice. Even the darkness itself feels alive, pulsing faintly as eyes adjust to its depth. Some nights smell of rain, others of dust, others of ocean salt. Each one is the planet resetting, releasing the warmth of the day and turning inward to rest. To step outside after sunset is to step into something new, yet ancient, a different version of the same world, wrapped in shadow and waiting for your stillness to notice its quiet patterns. Along certain coasts, the sea glows at night, waves illuminated by living light. Tiny plankton drift near the surface, and when disturbed by motion, they release flashes of blue-green bioluminescence, transforming each wave into a ribbon of stars. The effect is otherworldly. Footsteps sparkle, foam burns softly, and every gesture leaves a trail of shimmering light. These microorganisms are part of the ocean's invisible pulse, turning chemical energy into beauty with every tide. The glow you see lasts only a moment, but millions of creatures create it together, synchronized by water's motion. In that faint radiance, the sea becomes sky, and the line between above and below disappears. Bioluminescence is the planet's way of remembering light, even in darkness. Proof that night is never truly void. It breathes, it glows, it waits, carrying the memory of sunlight in the smallest living forms. Fireflies rise from grass and water, carrying tiny lanterns into the air. Their glow, created by a chemical reaction within their bodies, mirrors the starlight above them, a dance of light, answering light. Each flash is both signal and song, a language of attraction and rhythm written in brightness. When many gather together, their pulses synchronize, creating patterns that ripple like constellations across the landscape. Watching them is like seeing the earth inhale the night sky, bringing its brilliance down to the ground. Their glow lasts for only a few weeks each year. Yet for that time, the world feels connected, heaven and earth speaking in the same visual language. Fireflies remind us that darkness is not emptiness, but contrast, the canvas against which life can shine. Their brief existence is timeless in meaning. Beauty is most visible when surrounded by quiet. In nocturnal forests, life continues in frequencies our eyes cannot see. Animals move through the undergrowth, guided by sound, scent, and heat, the invisible language of night. Bats trace the air with echoes. Owls listen for heartbeats in the grass. And plants release subtle fragrances that call to nighttime pollinators through infrared lenses. The forest reveals itself, glowing bodies, hidden trails, the constant hum of energy. To the human ear, it may seem still, but beneath the quiet, every leaf and creature is active, communicating in wavelengths beyond our senses. Night is not absence but translation, a shift from light to sound, from sight to awareness. In that unseen world, life thrives, perfectly tuned to darkness. The forest breathes differently after dusk, not asleep, but dreaming awake, carrying out the other half of the planet's eternal rhythm of being. Even darkness glows faintly if you stay still enough to see. Far from cities and screens, your eyes begin to adjust, revealing the world's hidden light. The Milky Way stretches in soft silver, airglow shimmers at the horizon, and even the ground reflects the starlight faintly. Bioluminescent fungi trace dim trails on fallen logs, and plankton drift like stars beneath black water. What seems pure black is filled with layers of grey, green, and deep blue colours the body remembers before the mind. Stillness becomes vision, patience becomes clarity. The longer you wait, the brighter the dark becomes. It's not empty but full, a quiet ocean of faint radiance surrounding everything. To see it requires not effort, but surrender, letting the eyes soften and the breath slow until you are no longer looking at the night, but simply part of it, glowing quietly too. Earth is the only known planet where water exists in all three states: solid, liquid, and vapor, perfectly balanced by temperature, pressure, and distance from the sun. Ice crowns the poles, rivers and oceans cover the surface, and invisible vapor drifts through the air, connecting sky and sea in endless motion. This balance is fragile yet persistent, the foundation of all life. Every raindrop, cloud, and wave is part of the same cycle: water rising, cooling, falling, and returning again and again. It shapes continents, regulates climate, and forms the chemistry of breath and blood. Nowhere else in the universe, as far as we can see, does this harmony exist. Earth is not merely wet, it is alive with water. Each molecule, a traveler through time. The oceans, snow, and mist are the planet's memory, the elements through which it speaks and renews itself eternally. Earth's orbit rests within the sun's habitable zone, a narrow band where warmth is gentle enough to sustain liquid water, yet cool enough to preserve ice and atmosphere. A little closer, and oceans would boil; a little farther, and they would freeze. This balance is no accident. but an exquisite alignment of distance, gravity, and motion. Every day, the planet glides along this invisible path, maintaining the perfect temperature for life. Seasons turn softly within this rhythm, guided by the tilt of the axis and the curve of its journey. From this orbit, sunlight arrives, not as fire, but as energy measured, nurturing and constant. The habitable zone is sometimes called the Goldilocks region, but it's more than comfort. It's the cradle of consciousness. It allows the fragile miracle of biology to exist, a cosmic equilibrium where warmth becomes memory and light becomes life. When astronauts look back at Earth from space, they call it the blue marble, suspended against the blackness. It glows with oceans and clouds, to a swirl of color and motion unlike anything else in the void. From that distance, mountains flatten, storms become brushstrokes, and every living thing fits into a single shimmering sphere. To those who have seen it firsthand, the view changes everything. Borders vanish, urgency fades, and the planet looks both eternal and impossibly delicate. The blue is ocean and atmosphere. The white is cloud and snow. The green is breath and growth. In that sight, humanity finds perspective. We are not separate from our world, but held within it. The blue marble is not just a planet, it is a living oasis, floating in silence, carrying the only known spark of warmth and awareness in a vast, unlit sea of space. From space, no borders are visible, only patterns of rivers, forests, and light. The divisions drawn by humans vanish, replaced by the unity of land and sea. Continents curl like petals around the globe, connected by the same winds and tides. Even cities, glowing faintly at night, form constellations of shared existence rather than separation. The view from orbit reveals what the surface often hides, that Earth is whole, one continuous system of balance and breath. Politics, language, and history disappear into the glow of clouds, replaced by geography's quiet truth. Astronauts often describe a deep, wordless empathy when they see this, an understanding that home is not a country but a planet. The photograph of Earth without borders is not only a picture of beauty, it is a mirror of belonging, a reminder that the lines we draw exist only in our minds. The planet turns slowly, beautifully, beneath the silence of space. From afar, its motion seems serene, a marble of blue and white, rotating with unbroken grace. Day becomes night. Night becomes day, in a rhythm that has continued for billions of years. The clouds drift, continents shift, auroras shimmer faintly at the poles. Against the void, this rotation is music without sound, a waltz of light and shadow. Time itself is measured by this movement, the spin that gives us morning, evening, and all the moments in between. In the stillness of orbit, Earth seems to move like breath, inhaling sunlight, exhaling darkness, endlessly steady. It does not hurry, it simply turns, as it always has. To watch it from space is to understand peace, motion without noise, beauty without demand, the quiet perfection of a world at balance with itself. The planet renews itself endlessly, cycling through erosion, growth, decay, and bloom. Mountains crumble into rivers spill into oceans, and oceans rise again into clouds that feed the land. Forests burn and return as meadows. Coral dies and rebuilds in new shapes. Nothing is wasted, only transformed. Time is the planet's quiet gardener, pruning and replanting without hurry. Even destruction is part of creation's rhythm. The same atoms that once built ancient forests now live inside your breath. Every ending on Earth is a preparation for beginning a slow conversation between loss and rebirth. The planet is never finished, only evolving, remembering, and recreating itself. When you look at a seed, a wave, or a stone, you're seeing this process paused mid-motion. Earth is renewal embodied, a living circle where even stillness is part of the dance. And everything, given time, finds its way back to life, even after storms. Balance always returns. The planet's systems know how to heal themselves, the ocean calming after violent winds, the soil settling after flood, the forest sprouting green through ash. Each disturbance awakens a counterbalance, a slow and deliberate correction born of time. Nature's resilience isn't resistance, but trust, a deep understanding that chaos and calm are partners in the same cycle. When lightning splits the sky or tides rise too high, the earth adjusts, absorbs, restores. Its memory is long, tui patience immense. Every ecosystem carries within it the blueprint of renewal, the knowledge of how to begin again. Even when humans forget, the planet remembers, whispering its rhythm back into motion. The return of balance is not sudden but certain, a steady heartbeat beneath the noise, reminding us that healing does not rush. It unfolds, quietly and completely. In its own eternal time, life has survived 5 mass extinctions and continues to create itself anew. From volcanic winters to ice ages, from meteor strikes to firestorms, the planet has witnessed collapse and rebirth beyond measure. Each time, something unexpected rises: small creatures in the ocean, green shoots in ash, wings where once there were fins. Life never repeats exactly, it reinvents. Its strength lies not in permanence, but adaptability, the ability to find beauty in change. We are part of that lineage, descendants of survivors who carried light through darkness. Even when the world seemed empty, seeds waited, coral rebuilt, and forests whispered to returning winds. The persistence of life is the universe's quiet miracle, not loud, not perfect, but relentless in its will to begin again. Earth's story is proof that endurance and grace are the same force, written in every leaf, shell, and breath that still exists today. Every dawn is the Earth's way of repeating a promise: light will return. No matter how long the night, the planet turns faithfully toward the sun, bringing warmth to frost, color to shadow, and motion to silence. The first rays touch mountains, rivers, and faces alike, reminding every living thing that renewal is woven into time itself. Dawn is not just sunrise, it is forgiveness, the resetting of the sky, the cleansing of memory. The glow across the horizon is older than language, yet it speaks clearly. There will always be another beginning. The world's rotation writes this assurance every day, painting the same message in new light. Even clouds and storms cannot block it forever. The promise persists above them, patient and inevitable. Every morning, when the world brightens, it's as if the universe itself whispers softly to Earth, continue, breathe, shine again. Beneath your feet, The earth dreams. Its core hums softly. Its oceans murmur in sleep, and its forests exhale in rhythm with your breath. Every grain of soil carries memory of stars, rain, and roots layered into the planet's ongoing story. Tonight, as you rest, the world continues its slow rotation, turning through darkness with steady grace. You are part of that motion, part of its dreaming. The same gravity that holds mountains holds you. The same rhythm that moves tides moves your chest. The earth dreams through you of renewal, of light, of peace. Its pulse runs through every living thing, connecting heart to horizon. You don't have to listen hard to hear it. You only have to be still. Let that thought cradle you, that the planet beneath you is alive and kind, dreaming gently, endlessly, and always with you. The night has carried you far across oceans, mountains, forests, and skies. You've drifted through the veins of rivers, through the roots of trees, through air that once passed through stars. Every breath you've taken tonight has been part of the Earth's own breathing. Every thought, a ripple in the quiet rhythm of the world turning beneath you. The planet is still here, steady, warm, and alive beneath its storms and stillness. It continues to balance, to renew, to hold all that has ever lived and all that will ever be. You are not separate from it. You are made of its minerals, its water, its light. The pulse that beats in your chest is the same that moves tides, the same that hums in stones and clouds and fireflies. As you rest, the world continues its gentle motion, rotating toward dawn somewhere, dimming into twilight somewhere else. The earth does not hurry, and tonight, neither should you. Let your breath match its pace, slow, patient, eternal. If you're listening right now, you might take a moment to notice where you are, what time it is, what the air feels like, what the night sounds like outside your window. You are part of this living planet's quiet story. Tell me where you're listening from tonight. It helps others find their way home to calm, just as you have. Now let your thoughts settle like dust after rain. The earth will keep turning, carrying you through its dream. Rest deeply, as the world holds you gently in its endless, patient rhythm. Good night, traveler. You are home.